'cause I know that it's something real. Gonna say how I feel, 'cause I know that it's something real. Hey, hey. Gonna say how I feel, 'cause I know that it's something real.
Hi, everybody. How are you guys? Janet, hi, good to have you here. Tamara, Nathan, Deirdre's here. Let's see. Yeah. And, yay. Good job. Yeah, it's good to have you guys here. Ooh la la is right. It's happy Saturday. We have had sunshine today. I took a walk all the way down the beach and went way up the beach to see where some of the slides have been. That's kind of crazy. Mother Nature has been having a good time taking out part of the hills. Oh well, that's what has to happen. Our beaches that we have in and around this area are all rocky beaches. They all have rocks and they're not sand. And except when the tide goes out far enough, there is a shoal of sand. And all of the geological information on it is that where those rocks all come from are from slides from that have collapsed into the water and different. Otherwise, we would just have mud beach, which rocks are much nicer, much nicer. Cool. Oh, thanks for the. I'm glad you like the music. What did I have on that one? Oh, I don't know how to go back and look at that without having it start all over that. I can't remember. I'll have to remember to look at that. I get my music from audio.com, audio.com. I have a link in my description. They're like Epidemic Sound, but I was in a workshop kind of thing that they had, and I got a year's subscription for about half of what it would have cost me for Epidemic. So I went with that. And yes, YouTube has its own catalog of music that really can work just as well, except that since I put my stuff all together in ecamm, I don't want to have to go to YouTube, find the music, download it out of their library onto my desktop, and then load it up. It just is another step. This way, I can actually, when I'm working in Canva to make the opening sequences, I can literally just drag and drop music into that I have downloaded and have the license for. Oh my gosh, I have itchy nose. Ugh. So that's what is working. Yay. So I'm glad you like the music. Sounds like everybody's having a good time. So I wanted to show you guys from last night. I'll get that before we get into tonight's book about particular artists. Angie sent me her dried pictures of the dried tiles that she had done. I think that they look really nice. I like the way they go together so well. Look at how well they match up. Isn't that cool? I just thought that was very nice. And then Deirdre sent me some from last night when we were doing, words and how to make them look like that. She did the word soft. Very cool. I thought that was nice. Thanks, Deidre. That's awesome. And then Tamara, hadn't seen this one in the stuff that she sent us that we saw last night. Saw the other ones. She'd done this emu, and this is from, did you say 2016? I think you said in your email. See, oh, I need to write things down. I think it was one she had done a while ago. And you were using blender brushes and stuff and charcoal, I think, because of your hands and whatnot. Anyway, wow, that's a pretty cool emu. Very cool. My husband even liked it. And for him to like an emu is a big deal. We were at a wild animal park in, there's one in Oregon, and it's a big, and this is way before the girls were born, and I wanted to go down there and photograph this. This was years and years ago. We had a Renault car that had a full open roof kind of thing. And the emu came up right up to the car and reached in over the top of the car. It was a little tiny car, kind of like, and tried to peck him on the head. Oh, he was not happy. He was freaked out by it. But yeah, that's why Bob doesn't go on my wildlife adventures for me. He is not so sure about him like I am, but that's pretty funny. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, let's see. Kumisa. Yeah, aren't they? You guys just do some really amazing. What does Layla call you? What does Layla call you? Is it Grandma Goo? I'm just finishing. Yes, she calls me Grandma Goo. All the grandkids call me Grandma Goo. So, little backstory on Grandma Goo. My nickname when I was little, from my oldest sister, my nickname was Magoo. Let me go back to my here so you don't see this. Was Magoo, like, oh Magoo, you've done it again, from the cartoon. And then when Patty, my oldest sister, had her son, I think I was 15 or so, and I was his summer babysitter. And all he ever heard her call me, he was born in November, so the next summer I was babysitting him every day. Well, she was back at work. And all he ever heard her call me was Magoo. And he couldn't say that. So the first things he started to say was he would call me Goo when he was a very little guy. Well, it stuck, and I became Auntie Goo. And so all of my nieces and nephews call me Auntie Goo. Todd, who has a teenager and a 10-year-old himself, he calls me Goo now. But he's the one who gave me the name. So I'm Auntie Goo to all of them. And then their kids call me Great Goo because I'm their great aunt. So I'm Great Goo. And, but my grandkids call me Grandma Goo. So it's, and if you, the way Grandma Goo, you drop off the N and the D, and you just get plain old. Grandma Goo. Grandma Goo. Grandma Goo. Or they just say, some of them say Grandma Goo, like that. Grandma Goo. So I'm Grandma Goo. That's how I got it. And that's what I am. And it's, yeah. I had a green drink at school that I drink, and we made a recipe, and we called it the Great Goo Green Drink. The kids all laughed about that. So, yep, that's what they all call me. And my littlest grandchild now, Rory, her big sister, Rook, started calling her Baby Goo. And she is being nicknamed Goo. So she has my color hair, and she's yeah. So Goo goes on. It goes on. So that's a long way about for your answer to your question. Yeah. So tonight, the book that I have for you. Wow. This one is one of those that I picked up at the Saettle Art Museum when I went to the Imogene Cunningham exhibit and went into the bookstore, gift store, bookstore at the Saettle Art Museum. That's a dangerous thing to do, to send a librarian, an art lover, into a museum bookstore. Yeah. So I picked up this book by Javaka Steptoe, and it's called Radiant Child. Let me show you the cover. There we go. Radiant Child. Why is my camera? Well, my camera's dipping. We'll have to go back and forth a little bit with the. I'm having. Oh well, that's what it had. Anyway, it's the story of the young artist Jean-Michel Basqua, and it is an amazing story of his life and how he worked. But I want to tell you a little bit about how this book was set up and what Javaka Steptoe did. First off, he and of himself is an artist, designer, and an illustrator. His debut picture book, In Daddy's Arms, I Am Tall, won the Coretta Scott King Illustrator Award. Oh. And Jimmy Sounds Like a Rainbow, written by Gary Golio, received a Coretta Scott King Illustrator honor. He's also illustrated Do You Know What I'll Do? By Charlotte Zolotow, which is an absolutely amazing author. I have a book by Charlotte Zolotow that I had when I was a little girl. A Pocket Full of Poems by Nikki Grimes, which I have some of Nikki's books. She used to live in Seattle when she first got started illustrating, and now she lives in California. An amazing poet and writer. Amiri and Odette, a love story by Walter Dean Myers. Oh my gosh, Walter Dean Myers. And Rain Play by Cynthia Cotton, and Hot Day on Abbott Avenue by Karen English also received the Jane Addams Children Book Award. He's also the author and illustrator of the Jones Family Express. He lives in Brooklyn, New York, and invites you to visit his website. Now, he talks about in this that where is it that? Here it is, about the book. Like Jean-Michel Basqua, I used bits of New York City to create the artwork of this book. I painted on richly textured pieces of found wood harvested from discarded Brooklyn Museum exhibit materials, the dumpsters of Brooklyn brownstones, and the streets of Greenwich Village and the Lower East Side. In this way, I invite my readers to create using the materials, people, and places in their environment. While they will not find reproductions of actual Basqua artwork in Radiant Child, they will find my original pieces that were inspired by him and my interpretations of his paintings and designs. So there is a lot of information about Basqua at the back of this, and his symbols and motifs. We'll look for crowns, where he represents many things such as power or strength, and he often gave crowns to others in his artwork as a sign of respect. The eyes often represented remembering, seeing, or understanding the past and the present. And cars, trucks, and airplanes often symbolize Basquiat's childhood and the car accident that badly injured him. He was hit by a car when he was 7. So there's a lot of additional information about Basqua in the back, and we'll get to that as we come through the story of Radiant Child. Now, I'm just wondering, here we go. There we go. Yay, I knew it was going to do better than that. Okay. There we go. I'm going to move that over there so I don't move things. Check, see who else has stepped in, if I'm behind on anything. Whew. I'm a girl. Hi, Joanne. Just finished cleaning up my mess. I've been resining all day, not even half day. That's awesome. So Nathan just took a resin class. And what? The story's almost 7 pages? What? Oh my gosh. Layla, and they're up in Vancouver this weekend. They got to borders finally open. Yes. So Janet, oh my goodness, yay! So we've got a good crowd here. So this book is based on a real person, and Jean-Michel Basqua was born in 1960, I believe. Yes, he was. Radiant Child, the story of a young artist, Jean-Michel Basqua. I was really excited to read this because I didn't know a lot about him. Somewhere in Brooklyn, between hearts that thump, double dutch and hopscotch, and salty mouths that slurp sweet ice, a little boy dreams of being a famous artist. In his house, you can tell a serious artist dwells. He sits at a table with pencils scattered everywhere. Jean-Michel draws from morning until night with a serious face amid a storm of papers. He refuses to sleep until he has created a masterpiece. At night, images enchant Jean-Michel's mind, and he wakes from his dreams to add one more line. His drawings are not neat or clean, nor does he color inside the lines. They are sloppy, ugly, and sometimes weird, but somehow still beautiful. Yeah. His art comes from his mother, Matilda, a Puerto Rican woman who designs and sews, cooks and cleans, and makes the house look like a stylish magazine. But most important, she lies on the floor and draws with Jean-Michel on his father's old work papers. From her, he learns that art is not only in the poetry books she reads to him or in the theaters and museums they visit. Art is in the street games of little children, in our style and the words that we speak. It is how the messy patchwork of the city creates new meaning for ordinary things. While visiting the museum, they look at his favorite works of art. Reading the story behind each artist, reading the story behind each work, this is how Jean-Michel learns what it means to be a famous artist. He got to see Picasso's Guernica. I think it's mentioned in the back. Back at home, he creates art on the floor as his father, Gerard, plays jazz records. Mama Mathilde cooks arroz con pollo and calls Jean-Michel mi amor. The energy and the life of the city can be felt in each line of his drawings. As time goes by, Jean-Michel learns that art has a healing power. After a car accident, he is scared and confused. Matilda gives him a book to calm his fears. It is filled with pictures of bones and skulls and other body parts. Jean-Michel draws from it until he knows it all by heart. He is no longer afraid. Back at home, Jean-Michel's body heals, but his heart breaks. His mother's mind is not well, and the family breaks. She no longer lies on the floor and draws with Jean-Michel, but sits by the window, singing only to the birds. Jean-Michel is confused and filled with terrible blues when Mathilde can no longer live at home. He tries drawing the terrible out of his blues, but things are not the same. As Jean-Michel grows older, he visits his mother when he can, always bringing his artwork to show, telling her that one day it will be in a museum, when I am a famous artist. A teenager now, Jean-Michel decides, Papa, I will be very famous one day. And with a sly look and a twinkle in his eyes, Jean-Michel leaves Brooklyn for New York City, the Lower East Side, a concrete jungle where only the tough survive. During the day, dressed in a green jumpsuit, splattered with paint, Jean-Michel stays with his friends, sleeping on couches and floors, leaving a barrage of collages and poem-filled papers everywhere he goes. At night, Jean-Michel spray paints the walls downtown with poems and drawings that catch the eye of artists, gallery goers, and passerbys. Under his art, he signs this name, Samo. And that last O, I'll show you here. That last O is a copyright. Samo with a copyright. Instead of Jean-Michel. Everybody wants to know, who is Samo? Samo moves from street corners to art gallery walls with powerful color composition and line, collaging and painting on anything he can find. His art is still not neat or clean, and definitely not inside the lines, but somehow still beautiful. Maybe it's Samu. I don't know. With his magical charm, Jean-Michel draws a crowd, but when it's time to work, he prefers to be alone, with the radio and TV on full blast. Now in expensive suits splattered with paint, he flips through stacks of magazines and open books and paints into the night, and sometimes for days at a time, with sounds and images jump into his head. Jean-Michel, an artist among artists, never doubts one line, creating from a soundtrack that is all his own. People describe him as radiant, wild, a genius child. But in his heart, he is king. So he draws a crown for himself and others he admires. A grown man now, with the art world in his hands, Jean-Michel visits his mother when he can. And at his most important shows, above all the critics, fans, and artists he admires, the place of honor is his mother's, a queen on a throne. If you look back here, there is his mother behind a velvet rope, the crown above. And if you look carefully, you can start to see so many people that you might recognize in this compilation. He is now a famous artist. And that's that. Look at that. This is just. So that tells the story of his art, and that's how Javaka Steptoe chose to end that part of the book. And it is amazing artwork. He did not recreate Basquiat's work. He used inspiration and put his own twist on it. The story of Basqua is really something else. Unfortunately, he he has something in common with a lot of other famous people where the number 27 comes into play. Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain, and Jean-Michel Basqua all died at the age of 27. Yeah, kind of a strange thing. But more about him. He was born on December 22nd of 1960 and grew up in Brooklyn, Jean-Michel Basqua did. His father was from Haiti, and his mother's family was from Puerto Rico. Living in a trilingual household, Jean-Michel spoke French, Spanish, and English. While his father had some artistic skill, it was Jean-Michel's mother, Mathilde, who drew him with him and took him to museums. He particularly liked seeing the painting called Guernica by Pablo Picasso in the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. It now hangs in the Museo Reina Sofia in Madrid. Some people think that Guernica shows the suffering of people and animals when warplanes bombed the village of Guernica, Spain, during the Spanish Civil War. It's one of the most famous anti-war paintings ever created, a form of activism through art, and a piece that shows the power of an artist's voice, and may have inspired a young Jean-Michel. When he was about 7 years old, Jean-Michel was hit by a car and badly injured. And that was mentioned back in the story. His mother gave him a copy of Gray's Anatomy, perhaps to help him understand what was happening inside his body as he recovered. The medical textbook became an important influence in his later work. That same year, Matilda began to suffer from mental illness and eventually left the family home, a difficult loss in an important daily role model for Jean-Michel. As he grew older, though, he visited his mother and showed her his artwork, which helped maintain their relationship. At age 17, Jean-Michel moved away from the home. He sold postcards and T-shirts of his own designs to support himself, and he used whatever he could find as a canvas. His first recognized work was as a graffiti series created with his friend Al Diaz starting in 1977. Tagged with the name Samu, the traditional art world was looking for something new, modern, and connected to street culture, and Basqua arrived at the perfect time. His first public exhibition was in Times Square show in 1980, and his first solo show was in Italy in 1981, the year he sold his first painting, which would be followed by many others. He also met and became friends with other famous artists of the time like Andy Warhol and Keith Haring. Basqua lived an exhilarating life, but underneath the excitement of his success, he struggled with a drug addiction until his death on August 12, 1988. When he was only 27 years old. His paintings now sell for millions of dollars and are collected and displayed in museums all over the world, such as the Whitney Museum of American Art and Brooklyn Museum. And it shows that, he bold and captivating art and a charisma. He often had political and expressive with a strong point of view and a message, which is why letters and words and phrases sometimes appear in his pieces. He addressed topics such as the struggles of everyday people and their fight against capitalism, colonialism, and those with power. He spoke from Black culture, including influences from Africa and African diaspora art, religion, history, and folklore. Improvisational jazz, bebop, hip-hop, sports, and the melting pot culture of New York City. So the motifs he used... And the artist who did the book, Javaka Steptoe, said that he first became aware of Basquiat's artwork when he was in high school and would actually see some of the things that he was around. And then it wasn't until much later at an exhibit at the Brooklyn Museum in 2005 that he truly understood how much his work meant to him. It made me realize that I wanted to help young people connect with his art the way I had. Steptoe mentions that he had uses it as a way, touches an important topic as diagnosable mental health disorders affect about 1 in 4 adults in the United States, because his own mother suffers from that. And it's just an amazing book, and so much. I mean, the work in it, the details of the artwork and what he did. So I I wanted to go on, and yeah, it is just absolutely amazing, the references and all this, and then the details that he did beyond. Then I wanted to look a little bit into Jean-Michel Basqua and to see what it was. So I have, let me go to my iPad screen here, and you can pull up. And is it not coming up? Oh. Where did it go? Oh, let's see. Hang on. There's that. Camera overlay. Let's try a new. There we go. I'll do that. I'll just do that. Thought I had it there. All right. So this shows you. Get myself out from behind there. I don't have to do that. Some of the works that he had that are his, and they're really, I mean, obviously you see the influence of graffiti and street art and multicultural type of things that he had, but this was one of the ones that the thing that he broke a U.S. art record with the sale of this. $110 million that sold back in, that was in 2017. Has become the most expensive at auction of any U.S. artist, fetching $110.5 million in New York. Untitled, a 1982 work in oil, stick, acrylic, and spray paint depicting a powerful crazed face shaped as a skull, also broke the sales room record for black artist and is the first created since 1980 to top the $100 million mark. Whoa! Yeah. You know, he was long gone before things were selling like that. His work has obviously become quite collectible, but it another thing that he was, and the illustrator talks about this, is that his work was really, he was a kind of a breakthrough artist for people like himself who were people of color or different ethnics who didn't fit in the standard art world. And he was definitely a breakthrough artist for that in so many ways. And it's just pretty amazing to see. So that was that one. His most famous piece is is Untitled, that's sold, but you can see different pieces in different places. And there's a picture of him. Oops, let's see if I can get that one. So that was that on those. I thought that was pretty cool, but I was $110.5 million. Oh my gosh. Yes, it is a great story. It's so cool. New York Metropolitan Museum must have stood in front of that painting for about an hour. Totally in awe. If you ever, I mean, I don't know how many of you have had to. At one time, I've not traveled very far. In a lot of places, I've not been to New York, but I did take myself on a trip to the Getty Museum in Los Angeles back in 2014, I think it was. And there were, I went for an Ansel Adams and a Minor White exhibit. But in one of the rooms there was, a Degas. and a Van Gogh and a Monet and a Matisse and a Picasso, and they had this like this gal. I was just, oh yeah, it was pretty amazing. It's always, I think it's always something if you can take yourself someplace like that and go in and actually take some time and go to a museum and see original pieces from, even from it if they're not that famous of people, just to go and see what some of them are. It's just really, I it blows me away, and it's kind of it leaves me speechless sometimes. What I always love to do though is, oftentimes a museum will have those recorded little things you can take along, and now you can actually, they have an app, you can get them. And I never, early on, I didn't think that those were important until I went to one I was in Las Vegas, and I went to the gallery at the Bellagio, and there was a photographer exhibit there, and he was a portrait photographer who took all those famous pictures of like Winston Churchill, and Churchill looks like he's pushing through, and all the, a very famous, he had a beautiful one of Helen Keller, and all of these black and whites that I recognized and knew. And by listening to the story behind them, it gave me just a greater understanding of so many of them. I know, it's insane. Who has that sort of money? You can see a tiny alien skull in my black and white photo, and the one that's behind me. Okay, cool. That's awesome. That's the book cover for my book. So, yeah, it is a cool, very cool story. Art does something for us all in such a different way. It's pretty amazing. So this book, I tell you guys, because it hasn't been out that long, it's hard to do it justice for you guys. Let's see. I guess it was 20 copyright 2016. It's really kind of hard to do it justice on this, just to show the richness of the work and the details. I mean, this is one of the, because as Steptoe says, he didn't try to copy his work, to replicate it. He did it as a representation. I wanted young readers and adults in their lives to be able to use Basquiat's story as a catalyst for conversation and healing. Most important, I hope that young readers will see that Basquiat's artwork is more than just bright colors or intriguing composition or text. It is thoughtful, powerful, and interesting, and like all artwork, it is not something that is good or bad. His art was his voice, which he used to speak about complex social issues and politics that are still relevant today. Instead of reproducing or including copies of real Basquiat paintings in this book, I chose to create my own interpretations of certain pieces and motifs. By painting them on textured pieces of wood, blending his style with mine, my goal was to show how his work has inspired me and to give young readers a sense of his artistic style. I hope they will want to learn more about him and will look for examples of his actual work online and in museums. Jean-Michel Basqua went after his dream of becoming a famous artist with all his heart. There is no doubt he made a mark on the world and encouraged others to do the same, and that mark matters, especially to artists and storytellers like me. Javaka Steptoe, or maybe it's Javaka. Maybe it's Javaka. His website is very cool too. I saw that. Let me pull that. Oh, come on. It's javaka.com. There we go. Let's go there and see what. There it is. This is the guy that did the book. And he won the Caldecott for this. 2017 Caldecott Award for Radiant Child. 2017 NAACP Image Award nomination for Outstanding Literary Work. And 2017 ALA Coretta Scott King Award. Whoa. 2011 Coretta Scott King Illustrator Award. Yeah, he's won a lot of awards. Oh, are you kidding? He changed his name. It's Javaka now. He used to, early books were by John Steptoe, because just write down Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters. Oh my gosh. That is it is such a beautiful book. It's one I have on my list to read to you guys. It's this kind of like an African-based Cinderella almost. Oh, it's amazing. Such a good book. Beautiful Daughters Musical National Tour returns this fall. Huh. There's Jimmy. Wow. So anyway, he's got a great website to see things, and I just realized that it's the same John Steptoe that he's now Javaka. Okay. Wow. So there's lots of information about him on what he's done. I think, okay. Is it? Pocket full of poems. What did it say? I'm going back to this. Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters. John Steptoe website. Oh, maybe not. Maybe they're just related. Oh, nope. Okay. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Javaka Steptoe is John Steptoe's son. Okay. I thought I was losing my mind. Librarian's losing her brain. She jumped on. See, John Steptoe's written Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters. It's been My Special Words, the story, The Jumping Mouse, Stevie. Stevie's such a good book. Oh my gosh. I did not know that was. I'm so excited. That's such a cool connection that an author illustrator that I have really admired has his son now has taken that up. That's just cool. That's just cool. See little things that get me a little bit crazy, all excited. Hi, Gloria. Nice to have you here. No, in the beach photo. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Cool. So back to something else. To 950, see what I typed. Oh, you were playing a game. Hi, Jack. Nice to have you here. So tomorrow night, you guys, I've already posted it as a premiere. It's a recorded. I recorded it and put it together and put it out. I will try to come on. I didn't want you to miss out on a story. I will try to come on, but the weather is beautiful and there's supposed to be still some clouds, but a little bit of nice, and I could not, I have to go to the coast. So Bob and I are leaving really early tomorrow morning and heading to the ocean, heading to about 2.5, we're going to head over to the Olympic Rainforest, or Olympic National Park. We'll go to some of my favorite places to photograph. I'm going to just spend the day photographing and climbing around and all over and seeing what I find. And if I'm lucky, I'll be able to get on the premiere at 6:30 and say hi if I have any coverage. If I'm up off the beach near Quinault Lodge, maybe I might. If we're at that time, I might have coverage. If I'm still down on beach 4 or beach 3, there's no chance, because that would mean I have climbed down over a rope and crawled down onto the beach, and the tide is out, and I have views at and light at sunset, which will keep me there at the beach if I have the light. And so I'm taking my camera here. So I'm not going to be in my chair physically here, but there is a story all set and ready for you guys. It's already queued up and I set it as a premiere for you guys. So couldn't miss out. Hi, Jack. So there we go. Yay. We'd never be having, but this guy had opened up and tried to drown us standing right in front of the museum. Oh, wow. Yeah. Hey, hi, Helen. How are you? Nice to have you here. Yes, that's the way to run into a museum. Find the museum as a place to escape. It's good to have everybody here. Yeah, it's just, that's my challenge to everybody. As soon as things start to really open up, if you can, find a museum or find an art gallery or someplace that you can just go wander in. And if not, take a look at some of books like this. Like I said, Radiant Child. That's the wrong thing. This one is really a beautiful book, and just the details. And you could probably check it out online too, from the library, and then you can see the type of work that Javaka Steptoe did, and to create this. It's quite, look at this, where he said his art comes from his mother Matilda, a Puerto Rican woman who designs and sews and cooks and cleans and makes the house look like a stylish magazine. But most important, she lies on the floor and draws with Jean-Michel on his father's old work papers. My goodness. So that's Radiant Child. Really recommend it, you guys. It's an awesome book. Check it out if you can out of the library. It's just to even look at it, it's just awesome. So I told you tomorrow night will be a premiere. I think I mentioned that Michael's was having deals on sketchbooks. Okay. And you guys liked my sketchbook that was, it's upstairs, that had the wire rack type. I went to go, because I was going to get another sketchbook for myself, and Layla is low. Her sketchbook is almost empty. So I went there, and then I looked at the bottom, kind of down there, in Michael's Pro section. It said, want this item in bulk. And seriously, you could get 12 of them. They're hardcover, 80 pages, 180-pound paper, or 110-pound paper, 80 pages, and they're hardbound wire, and they have perforated pages, and you could get 12 sketchbooks for $53. They turned out to be $4.19 a piece for big 9 by 12, 8.5 by 11, 9 by 12 sketchbooks. I come to buy them in that pro bulk thing. And then on top of that, I got my senior citizen 10% discount. All right. I'm feeling pretty. Anyway, so those of you who like sketchbooks and stuff like that, it's just, a little bit of creation. The motto, as Chase always says, create before you consume. So whether that's you write in the morning or you draw or do something, you create before you consume emails or social media or stuff like that. It's kind of an amazing thing to do. Okay, you guys, so I'm checking to see who I missed, and everybody looks like Joanne's here. A book called Soul Conception, Inside the Mind of a Late Discovery Adoptee. Not sure when I'll finish it. That, Janet, sounds amazing. That really does. Interesting. Another conversation for another night. Bob was adopted, but he's known since he was quite young that he was, but that discovery's along the way of other things. Hi, Angie. There you are. Things around me are pretty much back to normal. Good. Hello. Yay. Okay. Send you Facebook Messenger message late this afternoon. Facebook Messenger message late this afternoon? Well, fiddle-dee-dee. So you guys, I have this real issue. I set my phone on Do Not Disturb for these things, and then I forget to turn it off. And I thought I had it set for timing, but I bet it's in my other person. Switch account. Let's see if it's on me, this one. No, Julie. Angie, I'll have to check and see later because I don't see it right now. I'll look. It could be someplace hiding from me. Okay, you guys. I'm going to the Pacific tomorrow, bright and early, taking my camera bag, heading out to the hoe and all that. And great. So I've set you a story. I recorded everything. It's got ooh la la's and the whole bit. Didn't want to miss out on anything. So that's there for you for tomorrow night. I will try to jump on during the premiere if I can, if there's any kind of a signal, but you know, and if not, I'll make sure I record a couple of shorts or a couple of videos so that I can post as shorts so you can kind of see where I am. If you've not seen me down in that area before, yeah, you'll get why I'm grinning from ear to ear to be where I am. The Oregon coasts are very, there's sandy beaches basically all along the Oregon coast. There's lots of big, you know, sea stacks and everything, but the beaches are very sandy. And yeah, there's some areas that are pretty rugged, but it's really pretty nice. Washington coasts are rugged and rough and brutally beautiful in some areas. And when you hear the waves crashing, you can also hear the rocks rolling as it rushes back out. We're not going to make up to Rialto or to Ruby Beach probably because that's a little further drive, but I'm going to go to a couple of my favorite secret beaches and take pictures. So I will see you guys in person in 2 nights, but I will be there in spirit tomorrow night with a story for you just on time and in a premiere. And I will try to hop on. But until then, you guys, thank you so much for being here. You can't use Phone a Hubby. Phone a Hubby is coming with me. He's gonna, you know, I get, I would go on my own, Jack, but I'm still, you know, how with the knee replacement and where I want to go. Bob was, yeah, he'd have a fit. There's about in this part of the national park where that is to go down to beach 4. Beach 3 will probably be a little easier. It's steeper, but the stairs are all the way down to the beach. Beach 4, where I really like to go, has some really cool rock formations and stuff. You get there, there's about 600-700 steps that are about maybe 3-inch rise and really long, and they're really hard to walk. And they go down, and then you have to cross this rickety bridge that kind of crosses over a gap between the rocks, and then you have to grab a rope and shimmy down the rope, or have it help you down as you walk down the edge to get to the next part. And then it's a trick to get down to the beach. And yeah, so once he knows I would go on my own, and he's like, oh no, I'm bringing my camera too, and we're gonna go. And I'm like, okay. So that would be fun. Sketchbooks, yes, sketchbooks. So, hi, Julie E. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Oh gosh, kiddo, that's too bad. Yeah, that is a rough when that happens. So I will probably, I'll get Bob to maybe video me if I'm going down that one with the rope, and you can have some LMAO entertainment. As Angie likes to say, it's pretty amusing to watch. Although, yeah, the last time I was down there, I got so absorbed. All of a sudden, Bob goes, "Look out!" And I'm absorbed in my camera, and I get hit. This comes up this little river. The wave comes up. The tide was coming in. So yeah. I'm so excited. Okay, Joanne, I don't know I missed what you said. So retype it again, because I can't scroll all the way back up here, or you guys are never going to get out of here on time. So yeah, you guys make me feel amazing. You really do. I love doing this, and I'm so happy that it brings you some joy. I hope it does. I feel honored that you let me come into your home, and that you listen to me babble on about these books and about the artists and authors in somewhat, even when I don't get the stuff quite right and I jump to conclusions about people, but then I try to correct myself. I get too excited. So until the next time, keep looking for the beauty hidden in plain sight. It's everywhere, all around. It's in your hearts. It's in your mirrors. And just reach out and grab it and share it. I'll see you next time, you guys.
In the heat of the night, we could get lost.